Hi everyone, Mitchell here back on Sports Hub. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a great 4th of July week and weekend. I sure did. It was great. Got to spend some time with family and friends, watch fireworks, and just hang out. It was just really nice, and the weather was perfect 85-degree and sunny day. A little humid, but it's all right for the winters we have here in Wisconsin. So anyway, back to this. I am actually changing the subject from the All-Star game. I'd rather cover the better subjects here. The NCAA March Madness, which is only 9 months away from this next March in 2020. I'm gonna do Super Celtic 24's brackets on. I'll do it my own way this time. But here's the predictions. I'll do it. I won't do a rundown from what Joel and Ari predict. I'll just explain who I'm gonna pick and why, and then especially the return players and the ones who declared in the draft and ones who returned. We'll see what happens there. We have Michigan State. They'll be either Grambling or Lamar. That's not even an option there. We have Houston. They'll beat Oklahoma. Houston nearly scared Michigan a few years ago in that second round NCAA game. I think they'll continue to be good, and they'll beat Oklahoma in the battle of 8 and 9 seeds. Auburn will beat Harvard. However, Harvard might be a sleeper this year in college hoops, so keep them in mind while you're watching and predicting for this year. But we have the Tigers, and then have the defending national champion Virginia Cavaliers. They'll beat Liberty, number 13. Liberty upset Mississippi State this year, but it wouldn't happen if they played Virginia. We have Oregon beating Minnesota or Providence, which I think the winner would be Minnesota. Texas Tech, the defending national champion runner-up, will beat UC Irvine. LSU will beat NC State. That would be a very close 7 versus 10 matchup, so I would take LSU in the SEC pulling out this one. Take Gonzaga pulling it out against Carson Wentz's North Dakota State squad. They would actually be up to a 15 North Dakota, so that would be really interesting for them if they were up from a 16 to a 15. So I'm going to keep an eye on that throughout the season too. We have Kansas beating Northern Colorado. Florida State beating Utah State. Utah State was disappointing last year. I had them going to the Elite Eight. They only went to the second round, and it was just, they just didn't make it that far. So, I don't see that happening so far this year, but it's still summer. So, we'll take Florida State in that one. Take Arizona to beat New Mexico State, and Seton Hall will beat East Tennessee State. Iowa will lose to Kansas State in a very close one because Jordan Bohannon's gone this year, so it'll be kind of a tougher year for Iowa. But you never know; they're actually a seed up this year, the 6th seed. So you never know. They recruit pretty well, like under Fran McCaffrey's squad. So we'll see. But I would take the double-digit Kansas State Wildcats under Bruce Weber to beat them. Florida will beat Charleston Southern. Marquette with Marcus Howard will lose to Texas. They only have a one-man show, Marcus Howard, after losing both the Hauser brothers. So, unfortunately, I would take the Horns to beat them in the 7-10 matchup. Louisville will beat UC Arlington, whoever they are. North Carolina will obviously beat the winner of that playing game, Morgan State and LIU Brooklyn. We'll take Carolina there. And Washington will beat Ole Miss. Definitely. Washington made it to the second round last year. I was impressed actually in how they played in that Thursday 8 versus 9 matchup. So, and they did beat Utah State then. So that was actually very interesting to watch. And they could be with North Carolina at least till halftime. So we'll see what happens there. We'll take the Ohio State Buckeyes to beat Vermont. That one really won't be close. Memphis will beat Belmont. Belmont's coach retired last year after 34 seasons in and still no NCAA tournament wins, but a great coach. But he's gone this year, so I do not see them winning with not as much coach experience as they had in the past. Arizona State, I will take them as a double digits 11th seed to beat Iowa State. Iowa State's kind of overrated yet. Arizona State has a lot coming in. They have a lot of potential. I'll take them. Maryland will beat Colgate. Mississippi State will beat Dayton. They'll climb their stretch this year since they lost to Liberty this year. Villanova will beat Radford under Jay Wright squad, and Duke will beat Rider. And Tennessee will beat Cincinnati. Creighton will beat Western Kentucky. Purdue will beat Northern Iowa. St. Mary's will beat the winner of that playing game, which is Penn State and Georgetown. And I'll change it. Penn State's in the March Madness. It's been quite a while since they've been in. I'll take the winner of that one, which I think will be Penn State, but that would be a very good first four matchup if something similar to that happened this year. Baylor will beat Ball State, and Michigan, my team under new coach Juwan Howard with Beeline going pro to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Going to take up some experience in transition, but I found out last night, that Michigan's recruited Mo Wagner's brother. So I'm very interested and excited for that. And if they're kind of just as good as that team, or they're gonna be equally as talented, that would be very good if they started Juwan Howard's coaching career like that. We'll take them at least to beat VCU, and Kentucky will beat Wright State, and Michigan State will definitely beat Houston. And Auburn in the Final Four rematch between Virginia. They'll get the dubs this time after having that foul call at the end of the game there. It probably wasn't a good call, but it happened, and Auburn made a great run. Unfortunately, they couldn't pull it out, but they'll win this one, the rematch. And Virginia's very undersized this year. They lost all their seniors except for one of them. So like DeAndre Hunter and Kyle Guy. They're all in the pros now, so I don't see them going further than that for now. And they're not recruiting as well as they were in the past for this off season. They're already just enjoying winning the championship game. We'll take Oregon. Actually to upset Texas Tech. Texas Tech lost Jarrett Culver, so I'm gonna take a 6-3 upset on this one. There's more people that have Oregon since I did it now too, so very interesting there. Gonzaga will beat LSU. Florida State will lose to Bill Self's Kansas squad, and Arizona will lose to Seton Hall. And Florida will beat Kansas State. Louisville will beat Texas. North Carolina will beat Washington for actually the rematch of last year. Ironically, they'll be meeting up for the first time since the last March Madness, and North Carolina will still win this one. We'll take Memphis over Ohio State. We'll take Arizona State over Maryland. I don't trust Maryland going past the second round, so I would take a Cinderella there, and they'll be in the Sweet 16. Nova over Mississippi State, I believe. Yes, it is. Duke will beat Tennessee. Purdue will beat Creighton, and Penn State's run will come to an end against Baylor. And then Kentucky will beat Michigan because Michigan's going to be too young this year. They won't compete with Kentucky, unfortunately, but they were a 10 or a higher seed. I'll be happy with that for the first year of Juwan Howard's head coaching experience. And Auburn definitely will not beat Michigan State. They're the two losers in the Final Four, but Michigan State will just continue. I mean, Cassius Winston coming back, he was unbelievable, and yep, they have a lot of players returning, and I don't see Auburn competing with them in this round of 16. And Gonzaga will beat Oregon. Oregon's run will come to an end, but it's premier experience level, and that's what Gonzaga has. And Oregon doesn't really have it right now. So, and then Kansas will beat Seton Hall. Louisville will beat Florida under their younger head coach, but I think they'll beat the Gators as a 2 seed. North Carolina will beat Memphis. I know some of these picks are broad. And Villanova under Jay Wright will go to the Elite Eight. And Duke will beat Purdue. And Kentucky will beat Baylor. Michigan State will beat Gonzaga, definitely, with their returning players, like I mentioned. The Gonzaga just can't compete with them. And Kansas will actually beat Louisville. Kansas will return to the Final Four for the first time since 2018. I don't think Louisville's Final Four prone yet, but they make the Elite Eight. That would be good for their program after being ineligible a few times due to academic violations. And even when they beat Michigan in 2013, they still had some vacated conference championships because of what they've gotten into academically and et cetera, et cetera. So if they made the Elite Eight, their fans should be excited about that. And don't need to talk about the 2013 championship game as a Michigan fan, but to me, they technically didn't win it. But yeah, we'll move on to Elite Eight here. North Carolina and Villanova, the rematch of the 2016 national championship game. This would be good, but North Carolina's gonna be too good. They'll lose Luke May, they'll lose a couple others, but once they've been recruiting really well this summer, and I don't think Villanova can compete with it. So we'll take Carolina in the Elite Eight, and then Duke and Kentucky. I would take Kentucky in this one, and Duke lost Zion, which I'm really happy. I don't have to hear the Zion show again this season for Duke, and Kentucky will beat them. So, and Michigan State will definitely beat Kansas, and Kentucky will beat North Carolina. Michigan State and Kentucky, a battle of 1 versus 2. It would be good till probably the end of the second half, and we'd have the first Big Ten team winning the entire thing since 2000. The Michigan State Spartans, for now, will be the 2020 national champions. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great day and week. See you all later. Like, subscribe, and comment.